Three, two, one. We're live. First financial branch manager, holla.
Hello, how we doing?
Great. How are you? I got Brandon here. I'll let you introduce yourself, man.
Yeah,
How are things? How are you doing?
going well. Brandon Peacock, branch manager, First Financial Bank here in over in Williamsport.
Proud sponsor of the B Team podcast.
Yeah, I have to forget I'm over across the river over here.
Yeah. No, I'm very excited. Actually, I told a lot of people that I was going to have you come on because, I like talking about things that I feel like are helpful to other people.
Totally.
Talking about money, and that's a tough thing because a lot of people don't want to talk about money. Like it's kind of like it's taboo a little.
It is. Yeah, I think especially me growing up. I mean, money wasn't talked about. Like, family and that kind of stuff. And I mean, personally, my wife and I, we've taken a whole different approach with that. I mean, my 11-year-old daughter. I mean, they ask questions, we tell them.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're not getting that toy at Walmart because we don't have money. I'm not. I'm not just gonna go put it on a credit card just because my kid wants it. But
a lot of people do that.
Yeah,
a lot of people do that.
Get in trouble with those. Been there, done that.
Me too, man. Me too. It's I don't know. I saw a thing on Facebook the other day, and it's just a meme, so it's nothing that carries much weight, but it made me think a little bit. But it said if your friends don't talk about money, you're not hanging out with the right people. Yeah. And I mean, it's kind of it's a little on both sides. I think like it's kind of like, yeah, okay, but it's also kind of like an asshole thing to say maybe, but right. I'm leaning more towards it. Like, I want to talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Right. I mean, you always want to learn, and especially if you can learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
Without having to make your own. Mm-hmm. But I think, like we said earlier, that's kind of a good way to learn is learning from mistakes.
Yeah.
But I mean, the more people I talk to, it's like, don't do some of these things. Don't do this. This is what you should do. And I hopefully can steer some people in the right direction in that regards.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing too that like I had a teacher in here. I don't know if you've seen that one or not, but I had Larry Broadwater come on, and he was just a history teacher, so this was a little out of his element. But like the way that the school system does things now is completely different from when I was a kid and in school. But with that, I remember I took like a business math class, and it was probably important, and I probably just wasn't listening. But there was a lot of things that, like, man, I never got to learn that stuff. Like even small things, like, which it's not a big deal really, but like even writing checks. I mean, obviously it's pretty simple to write a check. I think anybody probably
harder than you think.
But yeah, it's it's nuts. Like, how many people like don't even know? I mean, and I don't know how many people use checks a whole lot. I don't really, but
yeah, and there's all sorts of stuff you can read about. When people estimate that we won't have checks ever again. But I mean, I read something the other day. I think the article was from 2014, and it said by 2019, 95% of the only 5% will be checks.
Think so?
And well, that's what it said 5 years ago. That's not the case. I mean, there's still
that's what I was gonna say. Like,
plenty of paper checks.
You think it's more than 5% now?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I guess for the business stuff, because I guess for my business, that's all I do is take checks.
Yep.
But I guess on a personal thing, like I don't think I ever really write checks.
But no, I mean, I see a lot of people that come in and they're just they sign over on the memo line or
Yeah. That would be me.
It's just, I think it just goes back to there was never any instruction there.
Yeah.
And if they are teaching that in school, I mean, it definitely needs to be taught. Maybe not so much you can spend just an afternoon on checks.
Right.
It's not a whole semester class or something, but
yeah,
budgeting
and getting into the deeper
managing
stuff,
all that stuff. I mean, that stuff needs to be learned.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can't. Not every parent is going to teach that.
It's not even that. It's like, even once you know certain things, it's a discipline thing.
Yeah.
Even like just simple things that it's obviously plain as day. It's hard for anybody, I think, but just like spending money you don't have, like, you might have it right now.
Right. Well, and that's it's a timely topic right now because, tax season.
Yep. Got them tax season ballers.
Don't spend it before you have it. I mean, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah. I mean, you know what time it is of the year.
Yeah.
Just from
balling. Just buying new TVs.
Yeah. And that's the tough part is, I mean, yeah, you get anxious and you know what the money's going to come in. And if some of these places that'll base your tax refund on just on a W-2 and
yeah.
But to get that money sooner than later, you know, you're getting charged interest. And
I'm a little nervous about tax season, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've watched 10.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, talking self-employed, I mean that, you know, on for taxes, you know, you want to expense as much as possible.
Yeah. And guess
legally possible.
Guess how many I put in? I'm an idiot. Luckily I have records of it, but in my QuickBooks, I haven't really kept track of it very well.
Okay.
So in QuickBooks, that's what I use.
Yeah.
And in QuickBooks, like I primarily use that for like invoicing and things like that,
right.
Keeping track of the people that owe me money, that don't owe me money, the
sure, your receivables and payables.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And expenses was not one of those things that I even kept track of at all.
Right.
And then you know, people are like, dude, you got like, this is more important than the other stuff. You got to put this in.
Right.
I'm like, oh no.
And the tough part with that is, you know, like I was saying, like on taxes, you want to expense as much as you can because that's the lower net income.
Yeah.
Lower reduced amount, lesser amount that you have to pay taxes on.
Right.
But I'm on my side of the desk at the bank.
Yeah.
You know, showing as little as possible may not be able to get you the loan.
Right. Oh, I didn't think about that.
So that it's kind of it's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, kind of push and pull there.
Yeah, because I mean we still have to show that you make enough to make the monthly payment.
Didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yep. So that's really tough. I mean, especially for 1099 customers or individuals that just all flows through to their personal tax return.
Right. See, that's like little tricks like that. Like I would have never, like where are you going to get that information? You know?
Yeah. I mean,
as like a newly owned, you know, business owner or whatever.
Right. And that's kind of, you know, I don't want to push people into products that they don't need or push people into products that we're highlighting that week or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I want them to get what's best for them.
Yeah.
And I'll tell them, you know,
Yeah.
this is the route I think you should go. These are your options. And this is why I think this is the best route. But yeah, some of those conversations are tough when it gets down to not making enough money.
Yeah. I was gonna say, how's that kind of like, that's gotta be a tough thing.
I hate telling people no.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
I want to do loans all day but you know, sometimes, you know, just depending on the bank, you're at the mercy of underwriters and you know, you've got to fit this person inside a box.
Right.
And, you know, a lot of times I'll tell people, you know, one bad apple ruins the bunch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not necessarily you, but this credit score doesn't qualify because,
yep.
You know, it's an indicator of how people pay their money is what the credit score is. So.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, is that like, so when you, like if you come in for a loan, I mean, is that primarily what you go off of is just a credit score?
So that's, I'd say
How's that work? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's three things that I look at. You know, years ago, I've been in banking 12 years. Half of that time I strictly did home loans. Now I'm on the branch manager, the retail sides where, you know, we're looking at everything offering everything as far as checking, savings, certificates of deposits, wealth management, credit cards. So I'm doing
business accounts.
Yeah, business accounts. There you go.
Paula, I'm coming, man. I'll be in there.
So I mean, it's not just people buying homes or refinancing the homes. It's a lot of different hats. You know,
right.
Bankers say that all the time. That I wear, you know, different hats.
Yeah.
But as far as credit, you know, I always go back to the 3 C's of credit, if you want to call it that. There's actually 5, but I kind of focus on 3. Credit being one of them, credit score. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of one of the pieces to the puzzle. Collateral, that's another C.
Okay.
So that's, you know, whether it's a car or a house, you know, what kind of collateral do you have for this loan?
Yep.
The third one would be capacity, which is really it's your ability to pay back that loan. So that's kind of what your income.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
So those are kind of the main 3. But you know, we're also you know, if somebody, we do have some flexibility. I mean, if somebody's credit report, you know, their score might be different than what the actual report is what the story is in the report.
Oh, really?
You know, like they might have a recent medical collection that has hit their score, but they've, other than that $50 medical collection, their history has been fine. So I mean, we can look past some of those things. Now, if you've got, you know, multiple 30-day late payments on an item, then that's a different story.
Right.
That's a little tough to look past, unless there's some extenuating circumstances. You know, like, well, I was off work, or you know, became disabled, or something like that.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
so another thing too, and you did kind of touch on it a little bit, but like wearing different hats and things like that. I mean, like, what all does it take to get into the industry? I mean, like, you guys do a lot of stuff. I mean, it's not like, you know, you just have checking accounts and shit like that.
It's not, and that's been a big shift. You know, whether it's technology or just customer habits, but yeah, we're not just cashing checks. We're not just depositing checks.
Right.
You know, somebody comes into the branch, you know, we're letting them know, we're educating them, we're informing them of other options that are at their disposal. We're not just, you know, you come in, pull money out. It's more, I guess it's more of an advisor role. Is the approach that we're trying to take.
And you guys do good with that. I'll definitely say that.
Yeah,
I feel like every time I come in there, man, you know, there's a reason why I try to. I'm really picky about this podcast on the people that I have to sponsor, you know, because I don't want it to be like an infomercial or anything like that. And that was kind of, that's a tricky thing, you know, like your bank sponsoring the pod, you know what I mean? Like it's an odd sponsorship,
right?
But I love that place. I've been there since I was 15, you know, and it's homey, you know. I know the people there.
Right.
It's not like like you're dealing with a big company,
right?
You know.
And that was something I was kind of thinking about coming into today, was people know. I mean, we know our bank has changed names. We know that's happened, but the people are the ones that are still there,
right?
And I've talked with the other bankers there in the branch. They're coming in here because of you, and because of you. Like, you know, my assistant branch manager, yesterday, 28 years.
Really?
Yeah. 28 years at the bank. So, I mean, people come for the people.
Yeah, they definitely do.
It's whether it's, you know, whatever the name of the bank is. I mean, I know that there's some ups and downs with that, but same people are there to get people through it. So
yeah, I remember when I like the merger thing first happened, or I guess when they got bought out or switched names, whatever you want to call it. But the only thing that was like a pain for me was it changed my my account numbers, or my routing number stayed the same, I think, but my account number changed. And I have a lot of things that go into that account, like through online stuff. So I was like, oh no, I got to go figure out. And like, but other than that,
routing number would have changed.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah.
And
so
not typically the account number.
Okay.
It may have.
No, I doubt it. You probably have it right. But one of them changed. And I was like, man, now I got to go back in. I got to set up like my online, like, because I, the merch and stuff like that. And I had to go change a bunch of stuff. But man, other than that, really, like, I couldn't be happy.
Seamless,
yeah. Like, it wasn't a big deal. I think they sent me a new card, and I got that in no time. The biggest thing, holla Apple Pay. Yeah. I use that all the time, and Main Source didn't have it, and I was so bummed about it.
Right.
I always wanted to use it, but it works really well. Like, I don't know if you ever use that, but
I recently I have, you know, just coming back from vacation with another family, and just sent them what I owed them, you know, for the dinner or whatever it was. Yeah. And I was really like, once I signed up for it, First Financial, they sent me the letter saying like, hey, just letting you know you signed up for Apple Pay. And that's just that was I didn't know that was going to come. I didn't expect that, but it was like, all right, well, this is legit, you know.
Yeah.
It's secure, so that is kind of nice.
Yeah, it's slick, man. I use it more than I use my card anymore, because everywhere I go, it takes it.
Okay.
If you go to
I've not used it like at a point of sale.
Oh, it's awesome.
I've just used it like person to person.
A lot of times you get people look at you like you're crazy, like,
right,
what the hell was that, you know? But
yeah,
for me, I have mine set up. I've got the iPhone 10, and it's just got the little side button thing.
Yeah.
You double click it, it goes off your face, and it's like, I mean, the phone's good enough to distinguish twins. Yeah. So it's like, it's secure. But you double click that thing, and the card comes up, and you just think, and then that's it. Like, you don't have to mess with nothing. You know, like, you're in, out, and done. And then it shows, like, it just works.
Well, we were talking about how many less checks there are today. The other thing is, like, I think, most banks will experience this, but the people that come into the branch are usually probably the same people week in and week out.
Yeah.
So it's easy to talk with them. It's easy to talk to them about the new product, or, how we can help them save money or make money. But it's the ones that are using the phone as their bank, basically.
Right.
That's, my boss is just said, like, this is the new bank right here.
That's it. Yeah, that's me.
And, lay in bed, you can check your balances, pay your bills and all that stuff. And so, reaching out to some of those customers that are comfortable with using technology, that's kind of what we're trying to figure out right now, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably a tough hurdle. But
yeah, and so we've been calling customers, and just like, hey, just doing courtesy calls, wanted to, let you know about this and that, and just let you know that we're here.
Yeah.
And so hopefully, next time they do need that product, they may not need something now, but they'll think about us.
That's the thing. Yeah, it seems like now it's probably more of like just getting the information to people that you're not seeing all the time.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's a technology hurdle that everybody deals with.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
Yep.
And for sure it's complicated because I know how it is to call people, and like you kind of maybe sometimes feel a little out of your element. It might seem like a little awkward, and like kind of why are you calling me?
Well, and especially with all the junk
scams
calls you get,
and shit.
Just getting somebody to pick up the phone. I mean, in the evenings, unless I know who it is, I'm not picking my phone up.
Right. Yeah. I get so many calls, man. And it's like, people get mad if I miss the call or whatever. And then, and if I get calls that like I don't know, a lot of times, especially if it would be somebody, like if you called me, obviously I know you, I guess, but maybe if we didn't have such a relationship or whatever, hey, this is your bank. No, it ain't, dog. I'm good. Click.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And then that's the tough thing. And again, it's nice because, when we call, they're going to know who we are,
Yeah. You guys, man, that's the thing though. It really is. So like you guys are real family, like it's a family feel there. And like, I really believe that if it was anybody else that would call me, hey, this is your bank. Nah, it ain't. I'm good. Like if you guys call them, I'm like, oh, okay. Am I good?
Yeah. Yeah. And we get that a lot. It's like, what's wrong with my account?
Yeah.
Nothing. You're good. You're good. We're just calling, let you know,
what did I do
checking
now?
in with you. What's good with you?
What did I do now?
Yeah. So we sometimes we lead with that, or if we're leaving a message, this is not urgent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Man, I was in Vegas actually, and I kept getting this phone call, just 1-800 number, wasn't answering it, and yeah, dog.
I know what that call is.
Went to swipe that card, didn't work. Looked like a clown out there. I was like, I swear to God, I got them. Like, yeah, sure you do, guy. We've heard that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, I wonder why this isn't working. And I went, and I listened to the 30 voicemails I had from the 1-800 number.
This is your bank trying to call you,
dummy. Yeah,
we're trying to help you out, trying to authorize this purchase.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, okay. And I just hit the button, and then like it was good after that. It was seamless, what I mean? But yeah, it was. I was like, I ain't answering this number. I don't know these guys. Yeah.
Right.
But man, no, you guys are a real good, people, like just the people's bank, I feel like. And I love that. And any exposure I can, give or help,
I mean, we appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, not to talk about my bank but just, it's just a lot of these skills with as far as money management and just keeping track of stuff.
Yeah.
Let's talk about important
that.
stuff to do.
Like what's some things that you deal with on a daily basis that you're like, man, I wish you guys would know a little bit more about this. Is there anything out there?
I guess a big thing is balance awareness. Just being people being aware. It keeps you out of trouble. It helps with budgeting. I kind of take the approach on, I've got spreadsheet after spreadsheet of budgets that I've done over the years. It's, I don't know if it's like a yearly thing or what, but it's like, oh, new year or time for a new design, new spreadsheet or whatever.
Yeah.
But I put those together and just, check ledgers, those are, it's a foreign concept to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I keep my check ledger on my phone it's not connected to the bank or anything like that. It's just, you know, I put all my bills in each month. I put in what my income is going to be and what's coming in, what's going out.
Yep.
And see how that works. And yeah.
Yeah, I used an app a long time ago. Man, I wish I could remember the name of it. It was really good though. And I think, and I can't remember because I don't use it anymore, but I actually think it linked up with your bank. You could put your account number, routing number in there, and it would link up, and so it would actually show like a real-time balance and that kind of thing.
Yep.
And it was handy. I used it for a long time, and then, I mean, now I use QuickBooks and.
Yeah. Well, now I've been since just getting ready for taxes and everything, I went back, and the actual bank app, you can look at expenses, you can look at budgeting, you can link external accounts. So that's been really nice, is just going in there. I mean, I don't have to export. Yeah. I don't have to do any of that stuff. And that's been nice. Just, I mean, it kind of hurts a little bit to see how much you spend on eating out and all that kind of stuff. But again, that's, you know, you learn from mistakes. And
dude, I know I'm a single guy over here. You look in that fridge. There's nothing in there. I got a case of cherry Pepsi in there. Yeah. That is it.
Yeah.
I don't need nothing else, man. I'm good. I'll just eat Pizza King. Proud sponsor of the B-Team podcast.
There you go.
Yeah, dude, I eat out all the time, man. Everyone always tells me, if you didn't do that, you'd be a millionaire. Like, you're probably, because it is ridiculous, man. I do spend a ton of money on it.
It adds up.
Yep. It does so fast, and you don't even think about it. Like, you know, it's $3 here, $4 there, $10 here. You know, I'm gonna go out and really ball out tonight. $20 at Texas Roadhouse or something, and then you look at it at the end of the month, and you're like, yeah, quit doing this, guy.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's you know, just having a plan. I mean, we go into each month, you know, pretty much have a good idea of, you know, what we're doing. And
what about with like a younger generation? Like, do you guys do much as far as maybe like to get kids involved or anything like that? I mean, I guess when I was younger, I think I was 15 when I opened up that account, I'm pretty sure. And at the time, they were doing this thing that was like based on students, like high school students. They were doing this special, and you come in, and I didnidn't get it, but somebody won an iPod.
Oh, yeah?
I'm pretty salty about that. I wish I would have got that iPod back.
Pretty nice prize.
Yeah. I didn't get that.
iPods.
I got a koozie, I think. I was pretty stoked about the koozie, I guess, but I wanted that iPod.
I should have brought you some koozies. Yeah, well, I mean, that's a good question. I think it's an area that we could look at. Aside from, you know, we've got the kids that come around for Halloween and trick or treat and that kind of stuff. But yeah, the you know, high school age, you know, I wouldn't be opposed to getting in front of some of them, you know, like you were talking about some of those classes,
like a career day or something.
And actually, I think Attica's having that. It's
yep.
I don't know what exactly it's called, but
yeah, they are.
I've got it on my desk at work to.
Yeah, they had mentioned it to me about that, and I think it's a great thing.
Yeah.
You know, because it'll teach the kids real life things. You know,
right.
And not that they're lacking or doing anything like that, but you know, give them some real life exposure and kind of some things to look for, maybe.
Yeah.
And I think for me, anyways, and like I said, things are a lot different now than what they were back then, but. You know, as kind of like a catalyst for me, even getting involved with, you know, just with that particular bank was like, I don't know what would have happened if maybe they weren't running that special. Like, who knows? Maybe I would have went to somewhere else.
Right.
And you know,
it's you know, don't want to miss those opportunities. And you know, we've got a lot of you know, the student savings accounts, the student checking accounts, you know, that kind of stuff. But engaging with those customers, that age group,
gotta be tough.
You know, it's difficult because obviously, you know. Even when we're doing just regular calls, you know, we'll come across some of those student accounts. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna call him. He's 16, you know.
Yeah.
I'll talk to the parents, you know, but it's one of those things like you don't want to talk to the kid without the parents and that whole thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, just I mean, if they've got questions, I mean, I've talked to kids, younger kids. I mean, I was over. I did an hour luncheon over at Wabash College.
Oh yeah.
I did that.
They have a few First Financial over there, don't they?
Yep, in Crawfordsville.
Yep, right down there. I know exactly where that is. Back when I worked at RomTech, they opened up a RomTech right next door to that, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm right here.
Yep.
Cool.
So, but even in college, you know, it's just, unless you're taking those personal finance classes,
yeah,
you know, just learning some of the behaviors that you should have once you leave school and once you're out from underneath your parents' wings. You know?
Right. You have any tips on that? I mean, like, what do you think?
You know, kind of going back to the whole credit thing. You know, credit's it's kind of like a catch-22. It's like, I got to have credit to get credit.
Yeah.
How do I get credit? You know.
Right.
You know, I think small balance credit cards are good beginner accounts.
$200-300.
$200-300, yeah. You know, like, and sometimes you can do secured credit cards. Often those will have better interest rates than a regular credit card. And
what's the difference there?
What that is most credit cards are just unsecured. There's no collateral.
Oh.
You know, it's not backed by anything other than that person's credit score and their name. You know.
Got it. Yeah.
A secured card, a bank you know, they've got some collateral. It's almost like a prepaid credit card.
Got it.
So $300 goes into an account, and worst case scenario, if they default on that credit card,
you pull the money there.
Yep. I mean, so, you know, bank's not out anything, and it reports their credit. So that's a good way to get started. But we tell people, you know, and they come in oftentimes, they're looking to build credit. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the direction we look at.
Yeah, that's probably a real good opportunity too. I mean, it seems like it kind of be a bummer, I guess, throwing the $300 up there, but
yeah.
But other than that, I mean, that's a pretty solid move. You know, do you guys do? Is that like an in-bank thing, or
we offer those? A lot of banks can offer those.
Oh,
yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I mean that's a good thing. And then I mean, I would, you know, a lot of people hit on the 401k. You know, if you got a job,
let's talk about that.
Start contributing to that right away, and I definitely think you definitely do that, especially if the employer is matching something.
Yeah.
Do the most
can you explain that a little bit, like just maybe even how it works for some of the folks that don't understand?
Yeah. So I mean, with the 401k, a retirement account, that's usually through the employer. If the employer does not offer a 401k, you can get an IRA, an individual retirement account. Usually with those, a lot of smaller employers, they may not have those 401ks or those retirement accounts through the employer, and so then you do kind of go and get your own account.
Yeah.
But the principle is the same. I mean, you put a percentage of your paycheck in there, and depending on whether it's a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA, and I don't want to get too technical, but traditional is before taxes are taken out, and then Roth is after you've paid taxes on that money.
So I didn't think about that. Yeah.
So again, that might be more of a financial advisor's wheelhouse, or accountant, that kind of thing, on which one will be best for you. But the sooner you start contributing to that, the more money you're apt to make, because compound interest and
and don't pull that money out early.
Yeah.
Don't pull that money out early.
Yep. Because you'll get penalties and have to pay taxes on some of those that are before the taxes come out. But yeah, try to leave that stuff. You know, I've seen people they've pulled it out, whether it's a down payment on a house. Which some of those that you can't avoid penalties. You know, if it's a qualifying distribution, it's just everybody's different.
Right.
So
I mean, I've heard of people pulling out all their life savings to pull out 35% of what they put into it after penalties and taxes and all that.
Yeah,
it's like,
you can lose a lot, but if there's no other option and it makes sense, that's
got to do it.
Still an option.
Yeah, definitely is.
Yep.
Definitely is. But that's a good thing too. What about like savings account? Do you guys do a lot with savings accounts now?
So savings account, like right now, just interest rates in general, whether it's a savings account or a home loan or car loan, rates are super low. And so savings accounts, like they're not paying a lot.
Right.
Until you start getting into maybe a money market account, which is, it's a little bit more of a fluid account. It's not so much like for savings, but higher balances are going to earn more interest, of course.
Right.
Some people, certificates of deposit, those can pay. You can find those anywhere from 1% to 2% right now, probably, just depending on how long you want to lock up your money.
Right.
But those CDs, you pull those out earlier than you need to, then there's a penalty there too. And so savings rates right now are they're pretty low on just regular savings accounts.
That sounds like the ticket's getting into the home loans. If you're looking to save money.
Yeah.
If you say the interest rates are low.
Yeah. I mean, right now,
house flipping. I got a buddy that's getting into that.
Yeah.
Houses.
Flipping houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
Yep. But yeah, interest rates on loans, I mean, they are low. I mean, it's a good time to buy a house. It's a good time to refinance houses if you haven't looked at it. And I'm not saying, you know, people come in and talk to me about it, but go to your banker, go to your bank and just sit down, do a financial review. I mean, you know, once a year. I mean, I think that's
what's that? What all?
Just a financial review, just in general. Just kind of look at everything.
Yeah.
You know, look at your deposit accounts, checking savings. You know, see how you're at there, and you know, I'll even get into to conversations about budgeting and just the big picture.
Yeah.
You know, if there are ways to save or make some money for the customer.
I mean, see, I didn't know you guys did that.
Yeah. I mean, we'll do a full review and just kind of look at everything. You know, if there's room for us to talk about other products or other opportunities, you know, we'll do that. But it kind of goes back to the piece, you know, I guess your daily grind, you know, pay bills, get paid every 2 weeks, pay bills. Sometimes you just don't think about, all right, well, am I paying too much for internet, or am I paying too much on my car insurance? You know, those are all ways that you can cut costs.
Yeah, it's the truth. I was paying way too much for my insurance. This hadn't been that long ago, and someone's like, "You're paying what?"
Yeah,
and I was like, "Yeah, I don't know, you know." And like I mean, like $200 more every. I think back then it was set up for paying every 6 months.
Yeah,
but $200 every 6 months. I mean, it don't sound like much, but you know, after every 6 months, I mean, that's quite a difference.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, man, really? And and then it ended up being even. Now I have it cheaper now than I had it set up for then, because I got set up with Progressive, and they put one of those deals in your car, the little thing. Have you seen those? It's like it goes in the little OBD2 port, and you put that thing in your car, plug it in, and then it knows, like, it's kind of weird. It knows where you drive, because they sent me a report. So it shows, it must have some kind of GPS module in there, because it shows where you go, like, most often.
Okay.
And like it somehow reports back with speed, and I would assume.
So it's your driving habits.
But like it's very detailed. Like it goes, I believe it pulls in like RPMs, like if you're tacking your car out a lot, like you really. And I know for sure if you stab the brakes, that thing, like, you know, like if you get enough force down, that thing will go. And
it sounds like you've tried this.
I didn't do it, but a buddy of mine did. He goes, "Watch this," and I was like, "All right." And so he chalks up the brakes, and it started beeping at him. And I was like, "Do it again!" Like because I was I didn't think he was going to do it. He did it again. I was like, "Dude, your insurance is going to be through the roof after a day, you idiot!" You know, that was hilarious. But so I don't know how all it works, but it lowered mine. That was through Progressive.
You know, talking about insurance, I mean, your credit score plays into that too.
Yeah.
I mean, insurance companies will look at that. Employers will sometimes they'll consider credit history.
Yeah.
So I mean, your credit history. I mean, once you turn 18, you start racking up this score.
Right.
You know, whether have a loan or not, but it's, you know, if you don't pay a bill, or, you know, it's gonna go on there. I mean, it's gonna go to collections. It's gonna get reported, and it'll hurt. Yeah. So I mean, it's just, a
lot of people learn shit the hard way. I've been one of them, man. I've dealt through all the hard shit, you know, and going through and like, oh no, or even like medical bills are the worst, because you don't, like, a lot of times you don't know. Yeah, I had one that I didn't know about.
Oh, we could talk for another hour about medical bills.
Yeah, that's a tough thing. And student loans is crazy.
Student loans too. That's in there.
Like a lot. I didn't know this, but I had actually watched another podcast and they were talking about it. But if you file bankruptcy, it wipes everything clean minus your student loans.
Yeah, student loans cannot.
Crazy.
Not bankruptable.
Like that is why. Like everything else. Like, I went balling out and I bought this Hummer and I got this nice house, and, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, good.
Like, nope. Still got to pay those student loans.
Wild.
And the student loans, that's another a soapbox I could get on.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm, you know, it's just one of those things where when I went to school, it was like that was the only option, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there were other options, but they, you know,
right. But there was another option.
Nobody explained the other options, whether it be the military or just, you know, not going to college as an option. And, you know, I'm still in college, and I've got buddies who are making 50, 60 grand, whether, you know, wherever they're working. Yeah. Trade stuff. And it's like, all right.
Yeah.
I'm going to graduate with, you know, no guarantees for a job, but then I'm going to be 40 grand in debt from student loans. And
it's wild, man. I remember
they hold people back.
They do. They definitely do. And they definitely excel some people.
Yeah.
But, you know, the location's based on that, and what kind of opportunities are out there, if their willingness to move. You know, I mean, there's a ton of things. I can remember being in high school, though, and they pulled us aside, and we had this big, I guess you'd call it like a meeting thing. And they were talking about like the Core 40 diploma.
Sure.
And then had talked about going to college. And like, it was a very high pressure thing on going to college.
Yeah.
Like very, very high pressure. Like they more or less told you, if you don't go to college, you ain't gonna do nothing.
You're right.
And like at the time, I think maybe that was probably the shift of where most kids weren't going to college. And then right around the time that I graduated is when like it really ramped up, and then everybody went to college.
Yeah.
Including me. You know, I went and I hated it, and I shouldn't have went, because I knew going into it I wasn't going to do anything with it. I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna pay attention to this shit, you know?
Yeah. But it was easy. It's just you take out a loan.
Right.
Student loans.
Yeah, easy.
And you don't have to pay for it until you're
I know what I was signing. I was signing papers and shit.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have even been allowed to have a pencil, let alone sign out on a loan.
So once you start paying back, you know, they're factored on, you know, like a 20-year payback.
Yeah.
So you figure, all right, you graduate, you know, let's say you're 22, 23, 20 years, you know, but, you know, for me, let's see, my daughter's 11 now, and you know, by the time I'm done paying mine off,
start paying hers.
And you know, she's the concept is, it's not relevant to her right now, but it's like, I'm talking to my wife, I'm like, I don't want to mortgage the house again just to pay. Pay student loans.
Right.
So it's like, all right, we're gonna make sure she knows what her options are.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, not saying she's not gonna get any help. She'll always get help, but you know, it's just one of those things. It's like, if college isn't for everybody, and I want them to know that. So, but
yeah, and I mean, does that affect anything when someone comes in for a loan or anything like that? Any kind
student loans? Yeah, I mean, it makes or breaks some people. I mean,
well, like even college, like even have you been to college?
Oh, yeah,
not really.
Not really.
Yeah,
I mean, there some loan applications might ask how much education do you have, but you know, if you've got the work history, you've got the income, you know.
Right. That's the bare bones there. Yeah.
Yep.
What else do you need? You know?
Yep.
Yeah. Man, what else? So one thing though for sure is that I wanted to get into, and it's kind of a two-part thing, but like the budget and money management. Yeah. So, like, do you have any pointers for anyone on, like, you know, struggling on that? Because that's like we kind of said it, but it's more of a discipline. Like, you can know what you need to do, but it just takes you know, that time.
Well, you know, just from my own experience and what I prefer, what works best for me, I've got a bills account and I've got a living expenses account. And so all my bills, you know, most people are going to know what needs to go out each month. And so all that's set up on automatic payments.
Yeah.
And my living expenses, basically, I just treat it like another bill, where each week, X amount of dollars goes into this second account, and that's what we're living off of, whether it's groceries, gas for the car, dining out, you know, that kind of stuff. And so that, you know, that really keeps us disciplined on that.
That's a good way. That's a real good way to do it. Yeah.
You know, the other thing is, you know, I try to, you know, I don't know whether it's Dave Ramsey or somebody like that, that's like, you know, every dollar needs a name.
Oh,
whether that's, all right, this dollar is going for my internet.
Yeah.
This dollar is going towards insurance. This dollar is going to 401k. This dollar is going to the health savings account.
Yeah.
You know, every dollar's got a place that it's going.
Right.
Whether it's into a savings or it's going to be in an account to spend on a bill.
Dave Ramsey, that's an interesting one, because he's big on like the cash and like the envelope system.
Yeah.
You ever try that?
I think we did there for a while.
Didn't like it?
Yeah, I didn't like it. It was just, you know, you can hold it, so it's like
it's real.
Yeah,
you're breaking that 20 on a $5 thing.
Yeah,
I ain't breaking it. Forget it.
Then it's like, all right, is that money? That $15 is it going back in the envelope? Probably not. Probably not.
Pocketing this.
Yeah. So we've tried that.
Yeah, and for those of you that are listening too,
yeah,
because I think it is a really effective way to do things. So Dave Ramsey, what he says,
it can be,
yeah, is he says that you take out your money and and lay it out in front of you. You get everything in cash, and you stick it in an envelope. You know, so you figure out what you need for your gas bill, your light bill, about what you're going to need to eat, and you get all these envelopes and you put everything in there, and you save up $1,000 cash and you put it in a cookie jar somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a tough thing because it's a ton of cash now, and it's not just like, oh, it's just swiping the card.
Right.
I'm guilty of that. I do that all the time.
Yeah. For me, I swiping the card, it's probably just my personality, but that's going in my check ledger on my phone.
Yeah. So you're pretty strict on that, huh?
Yeah. But the living expenses, I mean, we put $250 in there every week, and that's we've got a grocery budget. Portion of that's for groceries. We got a dining out budget. It took a while for my wife to get on board with that, but
yeah,
she's
I've had a joint account, man, and that's a tough thing.
Yeah.
Like you got two cards, who's spending what,
right?
And then at least for us back then, we got to the girl that I had to set up with, she was actually probably more responsible than me, which doesn't take much.
Yeah.
But like I had pictured it being like war all the time. You bought what? Like, well, what'd you buy?
Yeah.
I got lucky, and that wasn't the case. But it makes it more complex, and I thought it was gonna be much easier.
Yeah.
Even a little insight on that back then. Like if someone was like, well, you could do it this way or whatever. They're all different approaches and things that I thought it'd be good to have you give back a little bit like that. Just like that, the two accounts. Like I think that's a genius idea.
No, you just treat your however much for your living expenses, you just treat it like another bill.
Yeah, and it doesn't get any simpler than that. And when you ain't got the money, you ain't got the money.
Right.
That's the thing. For me, I mean, obviously my situation's a little different because I got different accounts and things kind of going everywhere right now. But for me, it's like when it's good, it's good, and when it's bad, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, man, it's up and down and in. Right. And when you got like now things for me is like a young, pretty inexperienced business owner, I guess you would say.
Well, sure.
For me, it's tough trying to manage that. Like now I'm to the points where I'm like, okay, I'm starting to understand how things work a little bit better, and realizing that, okay, well, yeah, you might have this money, but just hang tight. And you probably don't need that right now. Hang tight on that, and let's make sure everything's going to stay afloat for a while. Save that shit back and make sure.
Yeah, and saving is difficult because it's it burns a hole in your pocket.
Oh yeah. I got a couple $1,000 in the bank. I'll buy this, whatever. I got it.
Right.
And then it's like 3 months. You're like, y'all take refunds?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. The money management. I mean, it's just everybody's different, and so what works for one person's it may not work for another person. So, we've tried all sorts of things. I've tried all sorts of different budgets, and this one, like we've talked about, it's been working for a number of years.
So it seems like a real good way to do it, and it's simple. That's one thing too, man. You get caught up in like this big conglomerate, like all these things that are rotating and moving in this big plan, and you need all these apps and all these things. I'm like, man, I can barely keep my things in line in QuickBooks. I ain't got time for all these apps and all this stuff. I use this one, and it is kind of handy, I guess. It's called Albert. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's kind of cool. It does take your money. It sneaks your money out of your accounts, what it does, and it makes it tricky to try to find it in QuickBooks. But that's like the only downside to it is it takes out little amounts and then it puts it into a savings account for you.
Okay.
And so it's like, after a month or well, like I think mine's set up now, it's a little bit higher, but when you need, like, if you look in there, you're like, now I got $1,000 in here.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, I don't even know, like, where'd that come from?
Right.
You know, and that's kind of cool. That's
and yeah, you know, what another thing that people can do is just automatic, like the payroll deductions.
Yeah.
You know, if
do you guys do that? Like,
so
does that work through the bank? Because I've heard of that, but I've never done it.
Well, like, you know, usually with the employer, you know, you've set up your direct deposit.
Yep.
Sometimes the employer will offer a separate, you know, you can have a certain amount or whatever amount you want go off to another account.
Oh, okay.
So for me personally, we've got an online savings account.
Yep.
And that money, you know, $25 a paycheck, it just goes in there. I don't even see it. I don't check that balance monthly.
Yep.
So I mean, it's just another way to, you don't see it, you don't miss it.
Right.
And so all you see is your net direct deposit to your checking account.
Yeah.
And
that's
what you live
same,
off of.
Pretty much the same thing. Yeah, it's just taking money you don't see.
Yep.
Yeah, that Albert thing I think is pretty cool, and how they do that. I mean, if running it out of like a business thing, it probably isn't recommended, but I mean, man, it is cool to be able to get in there and be like, because for mine, I have two. So they encourage a what they call like a rainy day fund.
Sure.
And then they have another one that's just a direct savings account. So you set up two.
Okay.
And so it somehow goes off of, and it's nice too, because they also check and see like what kind of subscriptions you have. Mm-hmm. So for like some of the younger folks out there that, you know, just got Netflix and Hulu and all this shit.
Yeah.
That was one thing that I found to be super helpful. One, I was paying for Hulu, and then I also have Spotify, you know, the music streaming app.
Yeah.
Well, they had offered this thing to where you get Hulu for free if you have Spotify Premium.
Yeah.
And so Albert, like, that app actually said that, like, you can get rid of this, you don't need this. That's $10 a month that you don't need to spend, and you get it for free. Yeah. And so that was pretty cool. I was like, okay. And then they do take that money and they try to dump it into those accounts as you set up, you know, as much as you want. I think one thing that's super interesting too is when you set it up, it says, how much do you want to pay us? So you can, it's like a gratuity system. You can pay them nothing.
Okay.
Like it's free technically.
Yeah.
But they're real people and they will text you.
Oh, like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so you can pay them per month. I have it set up. Mine's like $6 is what they said. That's what's recommended. So it's like, it's $6, whatever.
Yeah.
So, and you pay them that, and it's like a, you know, like a tip, I guess you'd say, but they text you off that. And it's definitely an interesting app and a way to do things. I think Acorns is another one that's
I've heard of Acorn,
but I think they take your money and invest it for you. I don't know on that, but it's the same thing. Like they take your change and kind of round it up, I believe.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's like an Office Space thing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Damn decimal.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, yeah, round up and every time you pay something, you just round up and
and just not worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, that Albert, I don't know how that, I mean, they just take like, I don't know how their algorithm is, but it's like, might be $2 here, but then like might be $8 over here. And then like might be 46 cents over here.
Yeah.
So it's kind of odd, but I mean, you know, for me, I rarely see it. The only time I see it's when I'm trying to zero everything out and like trying to get my balance correct and QuickBooks.
Reconcile,
yeah. And then it's like that lasts for 3 days, and it's like I'll do it again at the end of the month.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everybody's different with how they manage their money, but it's. I think the biggest thing is just being aware of your balance and what is coming out, what's going in, and what's coming out.
Yeah.
You know, I think the other big thing that people that would help people out is once you do pay off something, and this again, it kind of goes back to Dave Ramsey and the snowball idea. Don't just leave that money just going into your account. You know, like add that extra $50 or $100, whatever that is, add it to the next debt, or just put it back. You know, put that into savings.
Yeah.
Because you know, I found myself in this situation. It's like, you know, or if income goes up, you know, your lifestyle, how you live, it kind of adjusts to that new income.
The more you get, the more you spend.
Yeah. And so if you kind of like, all right, well, you know, got a raise this year or whatever, just maybe increase your 401k that same amount, or increase your automatic savings account, you know, increase that the same amount. So really you're not
there's no fluctuation.
Yeah, you're not seeing it. That's really a good way. I mean, but
yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. And man, another thing too for me is like, and it's funny that you mentioned that Albert thing. They just texted me this yesterday, and I didn't respond because I rarely respond to those things. But they said, "Are you more likely to pay off a debt that is a higher interest rate or a lower debt?"
Right.
And I thought about it, and I was like, for me, I don't know. Other than this house, I don't own anything. Like, I'm good, clear. Like I'm trying to stay out of that shit.
Right. Yeah.
But so like, but I was thinking about it. It's probably irresponsible, but I would think I would probably be more likely to pay off the lesser debt to feel good about it. You know what I mean?
You get that instant gratification.
Yeah, just like, all right, let's just pay this off. And like, if I had a $300 debt out there, or whatever, I'm just gonna pay that, and like, let's get this thing done, and then we'll move on.
Yeah.
And I think,
again, personally, we've been kind of looking at that. It's like, all right, this student loan, it's low interest, and possibly be able to deduct that interest on taxes.
Yeah.
But then we've got a medical bill. We're not paying any interest on it, but we're paying $100 a month to it. So it's like, which one should we pay off? I'm not paying any interest on the medical bill, but that'll give me another $100 to put somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that I like going after the lower balances.
You do too?
I mean, if the interest rates,
yeah, I mean, if it's like crazy, then sure. But yeah, if it's
I'll calculate that, but it's go off the lower balance and like, all right, you can see some light at the end of this tunnel.
Yeah, that's it.
Pay that off and then roll that next payment
into the yep. Yeah, I think that's an important way to look at it. Even if, I mean, and it kind of does make a little bit of sense. I think even if the interest rates are, maybe not too steep, but a little bit higher, because if you can knock that other balance out, like you get that out, you got that extra money to throw at the other one now.
Yep.
Like, let's just get it,
or at least some breathing room on your monthly cash flow.
Right.
That made me think of when I've got customers and I've had to tell them no, we can't do something, unfortunately. And maybe it's, let's just say, I mean, I've seen pages of collections, or I've seen pages of debts that, like, all right, it's just somebody that doesn't look at it every day. It's too much to look. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so when they ask, like, well, where do I start? Let's say you've got $1,000 to spend on all these collections, but you've got one collection that's $1,000. You can knock out that one, or you could knock out these 8 others,
right,
that add up to that $1,000. And that's usually where I think people should start, is start with the one with the lowest amount, get it taken care of, and that way you're if you do have a lump of money that you can put towards that, you can spread it over more accounts.
Does that look better on your credit? I mean, I know you probably don't.
I mean, yeah, I think it does, because if you've got, let's say you've got 10 collections on there, and you're able to take out 9 of those,
right,
or one of them, I mean, paying off 9 of those is going to look
better than paying the one.
Whatever algorithm the credit bureaus are using.
Yeah, I would think that too.
Yep. So yeah, I like that instant gratification. I think a lot of people do.
Yeah,
they like feeling that. Yeah, because they're not seeing, all right, I could go after the one that's paying interest and save myself $4 a month.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't sweating the $4.
Yeah. So,
what else, man? What's any big hurdles in your industry right now? Anything people ought to watch out for?
The nice part about working at this bank and in Williamsport is it does have the community feel. Yeah, it does have the small bank, small community. It has that feel, and so I don't know. I mean, news is news and that kind of stuff. Stock market. Yeah, I don't know what it's doing today. I try not to get lost in too much of that stuff. I pay attention to where rates are at, housing rates especially. Yeah. Because that's a big thing. Right now, people are saying it's a seller's market as far as real estate. If you are interested in selling your home, now's the time to do it, because there's just not a lot of homes on the market from what I've talked to with other realtors and people that I talk to on a daily basis. So. Man, it seems like a lot of people are renting over buying anymore. And I don't know if that's maybe like just my age group of afraid to make that leap and buy. Yeah. And being stuck into that or what. Yeah.
But have you seen anything with that? I mean, does it seem like that or no?
I mean, there's customers that are coming in. They're like, tired of renting. How do we get into home ownership? And so definitely,
that first time home buyers thing's been hot, hasn't it?
Well,
I've heard a lot of people talk about that.
Right now there's not as many, I guess, credits or, I don't know how long ago it was. Whether it was probably more than 10 years ago. With
oh, really?
Well, they gave, whether it was a credit or I'm not sure. That was before my banking times.
Yeah,
I didn't pay attention to it back then. but first time, a lot of banks will have different programs for first time home buyers, and really the definition of a first time home buyer is somebody who hasn't owned a home in 3 years.
Really?
So you can go rent for 3 years, and technically you're a first time home buyer based on that definition. And so you some people are eligible for those things, even though they've done it before.
Wow, that's wild. I had no idea.
It just depends. Every bank's different.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that, though.
Technology is a big thing right now in banking, like we were talking about earlier. The bank is the phone, and
right. App solid, man.
Yeah.
Dude, my dad showed me something the other day on his banking app, and I didn't know anything about this. Bill pay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't ever use that. Like, I mean, I always
save you a stamp,
dude. Well, not even that, but like for me, all right, so like my Vectron bill, right? Let's just take that. All right, so it's whatever, $70 or whatever it's going to be. I just go on there and like I'd log into the thing, and then I just hit pay, whatever, and then like it comes down with the option to pay. I have mine set up through my account number and routing number through my bank instead of the card, because I don't like waiting on the cards and all that.
Right.
So just hit pay with the bank, and then it's like done, whatever. And I was telling Dad about it. He's like, "Oh no, dude, you don't want to do that. Just use bill pay." I was like, "The hell's bill pay?" He's like, "Watch this," and he gets on there and he's like showing me, like, "Here, all right, so you just hit pay here, and then you put the amount in, and then hit pay, and then you're done."
Yeah.
I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, you don't have to go through." He's like, "So I sit down once a month and go down to like the bill pay option on his, like in his app or whatever." He was doing it on the computer, but yeah, he's just going down like gas, electric, like right down the line, just typing numbers in, hit pay, and then you're done.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's incredible. Like, do you use that? Am I the only person that's not using this?
I use it. It's a lot of bills are coming out automatically, whether they're linked to the account.
Yeah, I have a few
or using your card. But then I do have some recurring bills.
Yeah,
like our D&D trash. I pay them.
Yeah,
with a check, and it's funny because here recently, I mean, they where they sent me, I paid it. $69 or whatever it is.
Yep.
And then they sent me an invoice that I still owed like $2 or $3 because pay it every quarter. So every 3 months I pay it. Well, their prices went up $1 a month. Well, I didn't know. It's just all on bill pay. It's automatically going out. So what do? I get on bill pay and send them a $3 check.
Yeah.
I mean,
right. Now here's the question I got
for write anything or send it or anything.
Who pays? Because I asked my dad this and he didn't know. Who pays for the check, the postage, and the envelope?
The bank.
Do they really? I was like, dude,
I'm sure some of that stuff can get passed along, whether inadvertently, but no,
yeah.
I mean, it's not like you're paying.
I told him, I was like,
there's a stamp plus 10 cents for the paper. You're not paying that.
Yeah, that's wild. I didn't know that. Yeah. So I told him, I was like, dude, they're robbing you $50 out of your account somewhere in the year, and you just ain't seeing it. He's like, no, they're not. I'm telling you. I was like, they got to be charging you somewhere. That's awesome. It's a courteous thing.
Bank fees is a big deal for banks, I think, and I've told people before, I'm like, whatever bank wherever you go, you should not have to pay a fee on your check.
Holla, all you fools out there paying your
there is a way
fee. Yeah.
Your bank has an account that you don't have to pay that fee. Just with ours, you sign up for e-statements, save some paper, save a tree. I mean, you can still have access to your statements.
Yep.
Go back a year or more to look at your statements. It's all there online, but we're not going to charge you $3.
Yeah. Somebody was telling me the other day, they're like, oh yeah, in my personal checking account that they had to have, I think it was like $500 in there at all time, or there was a fee on it.
Yep. And
then that it was like $10 a month just to have the account. I was like, nah, dog, you're doing that.
I mean, and we've got those accounts. We've got accounts that like, all right, if you don't have X amount in the account, you're going to get charged a fee.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when we're doing those financial reviews, you know, and we see like, hey, you know, you're getting charged this, we could put you in this account.
Yeah,
you're not going to get charged. So like, you know, those are just little ways to make or save people money. And but really, you know, whether it's called a free checking or a simple checking, whatever it's called, there you shouldn't have to pay. And even for businesses, you know, smaller businesses, you start getting up to big businesses, you know, I get some other services that they're going to have monthly fees on. But
just like a little personal account like that ain't
right.
Yeah. And the guy I was talking to, I was like, dude, nah.
Yeah.
You can go, just go talk to my bank. That's what I told him.
Right. There you go.
Just head on over there. I don't know if he did or not, but I'm hopeful.
But yeah, I mean, you shouldn't have to have those fees. I mean, you know, there's a reason for them, but if there's a way to avoid it,
right,
you should definitely be finding out how to.
Well, man, it's about, I don't want to hold you up too much longer, but is there anything else that you want to mention maybe before we wrap this whole thing up? Anything that I missed?
Can't think of anything. I think we covered all sorts of stuff. We didn't get off on too many tangents. And
how'd it go? You nervous?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
I'll put you on the spotlight here.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I guess before I jump off here, I would like to thank the sponsors. Also, I'm looking for a few new sponsors coming up on this next month here. I'm going to be reaching out to folks here within the next few days. So if you're listening to this and you are curious about sponsoring this podcast, holla. But the current sponsors I have are great. I got WCC right over there. They make cool things. It's my dad. He makes gator heads, butterflies, all kinds of stuff. Warren County Creations, the name of it. First Financial, Williamsport. Holla!
There we go.
Best bank I know, man. I love them guys. They're good folks. I got the BP in Williamsport as well. They're great, man. I love going over there.
I'm over there at least once a week.
Dude,
chicken.
Yeah, they're
chicken,
good folks,
potato logs.
Yeah, they got all the good shit in there. I love that place. And I'm actually working with them right now to do a giveaway on BP gas cards.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm ready to give away some money that ain't mine.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
But Delta Welding as well, man. If you guys are listening to this, be on the lookout. I'm actually going to be doing a commercial for them here before long, and I'm very excited about it. The last one I did was last summer, and so we got to get things moving on that. Grady Funeral Homes. Mike Grady's a good friend of mine, and he has treated me very well over the years. Mike, thank you. I'm especially thankful. And another good Mike is Mike Alsop. If you guys haven't watched the podcast with him, go ahead and watch that. He is he's a very good individual, and he does a lot to give back to the community, and I'm very thankful to have you on board with this. And I think that's about it. I just got back from Florida. If you guys are listening to this, watch the trip of my dad going down to Florida, man. I can't stop messing with this guy. I called him up today just to try to piss him off a little bit. He wasn't having it. He really wasn't. And I was like, come on, man. But I think that's about it. If you guys are listening to this, the podcast is now available on iTunes and Spotify and now YouTube. So if you guys are on YouTube, go subscribe. I'm this close to being monetized through YouTube. I'm so stoked. I'm just pushing.
There we go.
I'm pushing with everything I got.
Need some more subscribes.
Yeah, that's it, man. I'm on the track right now to 1,000. We just hit 600 and something. We've been pushing this like crazy. It's over the last couple months, it seems like, and it's been growing. And I couldn't be more thankful for everybody, man. Honestly. But yeah, I think that's about it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. I'll leave your cards here, and I'll tell everybody, look, don't be paying for checking accounts.
That's right. Yep.
All right, man. Well, I'll wrap this thing up. Thank you again for coming. And First Financial, happy to have you.
Thanks.
And we out.